Welcome everyone to another episode of talking about an indie game no one gives a fuck about. It's been a while since the last one, but I'm back with some, unfortunate news. If you remember Sunsoft from back in the day, you're a real nigga. Creators of classic arcade and licensed games, and that one franchise indie creators just won't stop fucking raping. Earlier this year, I decided to go back through my backlog and play a few of their titles, and none of them caught my eye more than Euphoria, the saga, or Hebereke if you consider yourself cultured. Honestly, I was fucking floored to find out just how much fun this game was, and how it pulled off the light Metroidvania elements of exploration, similar to something like the Monster World games. It remained a well-deserved cult classic all these years later, prompting a proper follow-up to be made as part of Sunsoft's initiative to polish and develop more games again. It all just seems too good to be true. Yeah, it kinda is. My impressions of the game were immediately positive by getting to look at a brand new art style heavily inspired by the Good Feel Yoshi games. It's not exactly what I was expecting when translating the games to HD, but the look and charm of it all managed to bleed through with some really good animations with added keyframes and expressions, managing to add more of that silly and bizarre character that I fell in love with. It's easily the biggest highlight of this game, along with a rearranged soundtrack that takes the original NES OST and translates it with proper instruments that capture the same feel. Another layer of character is added in little dialogue scenes peppered throughout the whole game. They're all really charming and endearing, but they can unfortunately make you sick in certain instances where you collect a lot of items in a row and you just get bombarded by skits and explanations that you just can't skip. It gets bad to the point where entire changes of the stage are pointed out as the camera pans over to the exit while the yapping just doesn't fucking end. It kills any sense of exploration and discovery, which I think is very intentional seeing how this entire game is structured. It's no longer a Metroidvania, but instead this pseudo-stage-based roguelike collectathon that sometimes links to new areas, but most of the time you'll just reach a dead end and get teleported to the first area, acting as a sort of hub. Here you'll find the item vending machine, which comprises the entire progression system of this game up until the very end. New moves need to be purchased at the vending machine, new attacks need to be purchased at the vending machine, health upgrades need to be purchased at the vending machine, key items for progression need to be purchased at the vending machine, even items that allow you to play as the characters you already saved need to be purchased at the vending machine. You get the point. The pacing and progression is practically shattered as you no longer get to revisit or find new areas to get the new items, but instead you repeat them over and over again to do mini challenges to get new coins. On top of this, the game will also have a random prompt window where you'll press a button that will either give you more coins, a lot more coins, hearts, a screen wipe attack, or a fat turd. Though if you thought you'd just buy your way through this game, you're gonna be sorry to find out that there's an additional series of items you have to collect in these cans that unlock new items to purchase once you reach a set amount. The game never tells you when you unlock new stuff though. You have to manually run back to the hub stage by fast traveling at the end of the stage or by pausing the screen and selecting the option. Though you can't travel from the hub to different areas until you buy the fast travel feature, which is actually a series of fetch quests where you have to buy more items, and once you get all of them, you can finally use it, only to find out that your coins get wiped after traveling, meaning that you effectively wasted your time and effort trying to use a mechanic rather than just running back and forth through the small world manually. And it's a really small world. A lot of the areas reuse the exact same theming twice, none of it new to the series other than the autumn stage. The world is no longer interconnected and unique, making it feel a lot more shallow than the original, even in its runtime. Despite all the padding and cutscenes, coin hunting, and fetch quest detours, I ended up finishing the game in about an hour and a half compared to the 3 hours the original game took me. Outside of the doodle jump stage at the end of the game, there's nothing here mechanically that the first game didn't do already, but better. It managed to capture the look and feel of the game down to the timing of each frame, but everything regarding the world design just feels like a massive regression of the NES original. It feels like nothing more than a shallow rehash that barely executes on the fundamentals, and I think charging $25 for it is a bit too much. The only case I can see someone getting their money's worth is if they go for 100% completion, but even then, it just boils down to replaying stages to grind for money, to buy items, to unlock more items. If there's anything to learn here is that less is more. The padding serves nothing else but to make the game boring, devaluing all the charm and wonder that made the original Euphoria so great. This is one of the rare cases where it actually would have been happier with a remake of the original game in this style, rather than a shallow reinvented system that ultimately serves to do the exact same thing but worse in every way. I'm telling you, please fucking play Euphoria 1. It's one of the best games on the NES, and even then, if you somehow feel like throwing Sunsoft some cash, I'd say skip this, even on a deep discount, and check out something like Trip World DX instead, as it properly leaves the original formula untouched and does nothing else but add more content to an already fun and unique platformer. Oh yeah, I never support a Blaster Master game.